It's one thing to have really good food. It's another thing to have something that's craveable. Your food is craveable. Like I was just there 2 days ago. Couldn't wait to go back just to at least start out with the shrimp toast.
Thank you. I know your first time you had a
doused
double.
us. You doused us. It was great. Oh my God, it was so good.
You had 2 rounds of shrimp toast. Bring it back.
All right, welcome back to Industry Only at the Cheese Store. We have Mei Lin here, who was kind enough essentially to film a commercial for the Cheese Store of the Beverly Hills before this. You're going to see great social clips later where she talks about how good the cheese is here. Don, was this the plan all along?
It was. I just need the ad. You don't even have to be on the
Just to get
podcast. Thank you, Don. I appreciate the commercial.
People.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. You know, Mei is TV famous. This shit usually costs a lot of money.
I know.
She could be at her restaurant at 88 Club right now. She could be cooking for one of her many celebrity clients, but she came here and
to hang out
just
with us.
ate cheese?
I just ate cheese.
And you just talked about
I mean, I love cheese, and any chance that I can come to the cheese store and have great cheese, I'm down.
Yeah, I mean, her restaurant is down the block. You can walk to it in less than 5 minutes. But I know
been there twice, Andy.
But I know that you've been here before,
Yes.
like when you did not have that proximity. So you generally like it here.
I love it here. Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
This is
what an
definitely
endorsement.
the go-to place for
I love
cheese.
I love it. Yeah. So, well, we'll get into the dinner in a little bit. But why don't you lead us off, Andy? I'm getting excited because I'm like, I printed out the menu. I printed out what I had 2 nights ago.
And he's so hyped.
And it was so great because I literally was just there. So I'm like, I'm pumped up. Go ahead.
So,
I'll calm down.
May, I mean, I know you in a lot of ways. And like, and we've talked about, the API stuff that matters a lot to us. But a lot of people know you, besides being a restaurant chef, because a lot of people don't live in LA, as a TV chef, because you've won 2 very prominent competitions. Top Chef.
I think I heard of that.
Food Network
Top
called
Chef.
Tournament of Champions,
Oh,
which
yeah.
like all the
I may have heard of those
chefs
too.
who've won things, like compete against each other to try to win again.
Was that season 12 of Top Chef?
It was, yeah.
Well, he's got notes.
Super rehearsed. Rehearsed.
So it's a very specific skill set, to win something like that versus being a restaurant chef. So I want to hear a little bit about like how you get good at winning stuff like that. But I also just want to like speak to LA a little bit, because if you think about the people who won prominent shows, we had Michael Votaggio on, who obviously is your mentor in a lot of ways, won Top Chef before you did.
Yeah.
Our friends of the podcast, Antonio LaFaso and Shirley Chung, both just won prominent shows on the Food Network. Brooke Williamson has won. There's been other ones. What is it about being an LA chef that sort of makes people, not just capable, but kind of the favorites and things like this?
I mean, I have to owe it to the training. I think I've worked for a lot of the greats, and I owe my training to them. Obviously, I think that food competitions are not easy. I think that in ways they might seem easy when you're watching them on TV. Like, oh, hey, I can do that. Oh,
well,
wait, what? Why would you do that?
You make it look easy, though.
No, I mean, I think it's all in the editing. I don't know that I make it look easy. But
they make it look easy, okay.
But it's all about like when I'm there, the headspace is just heads down, just working and just concentrating on what I have to get done in the allotted time that I have. Because a lot of these competitions, if not, well, all the competitions are timed. Whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, you have to make something, and multiple items of that one thing. I mean, it's not easy because you're doing it all by yourself. You're doing all the mise en place, you're plating it all by yourself. So you literally have to have mental organization and basically just multitasking. You have to have all of that.
I'm going to ask you a really dumb question right now. I don't even know if you could answer this, right? But like, so when you're going into this competition and as you're doing all these various competitions throughout the season and stuff, like, do you have any idea on what you're going to be doing, or like, is it going to be 1 of 3 things, or it's just like, okay, today the secret ingredient is fennel, and you just have to go and do your thing? Like, how does that work?
I mean, I guess it depends on the show, but I think you have every chef has their basic like repertoire of like things that they cook or things that they've done in the past. And I think for me, I just kind of look at all of those things and how can I adapt that into the challenge. it doesn't necessarily always work, because I feel like, let's say for a show like Tournament of Champions, it's not a show that you can actually prep for, because you don't know what you're going to be cooking, because there's like this thing called a randomizer. It's a wheel that will spin a certain ingredients, like you have your produce, your protein, the allotted time that you have, the piece of equipment that you have to use, and like a wild card, like some whammy ingredient that you have to use. So you can't prep for that. You never know what you're going to get. So if you go into the mindset that like, hey, I'm going to make moule frite today, what if you don't get mussels?
If you don't get mussels or fries, you're
what are you
fucked,
going to do? You know, like because if you have your mind set on that and that's what you're fixated on, you're just going to get stuck.
Right.
So I kind of go into it like blank mind, just don't think about anything, just have music playing in my head and just go into it like, okay, this is what I'm going to make. This randomizer is literally telling me what to make, and that's just kind of how I go about it.
That's crazy.
For instance,
but it's like yeah, because like you're not going to train to be on one of these shows. This is like you said, it's a culmination of everything that you've ever learned in any kitchen, and you're really putting it together within a time frame.
Right.
That's crazy to me. Yeah. I would freak out. Like, has anyone ever burned anything where they had to like cut and like start again?
For sure.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and you know, for a lot of people, like you get nervous. Like I get the butterflies when I go on.
Yeah.
And I mean, some people like they're shaky and you can cut yourself. Like a lot of things can happen. And, you know, especially in 30 minutes, it's not a lot of time at all, because technically it's not even a 30-minute cook. It's a 25-minute cook or 20-minute cook, depending on how long it takes for you to shop for your ingredients, because you have to go grab all of your stuff. So it's crazy. Like a lot of people don't think about that.
That is crazy. How did you wind up, because we asked Tasha the same thing. How did you wind up like getting on, like knowing about the audition, learning about it, and getting actually trying out for it? At least Top Chef.
Top Chef, I think it was my very first like real competition, and
you picked a real doozy to start that one off.
No,
the biggest show in America, and like that was your first one. All right, well done.
Well, funny story is I never wanted to do it. No, for real. Like people were like, no way. Like why would you audition for something you don't want to do? And you know, Joy.
Yeah.
Joy was repping Michael at the time, and she actually had signed me up to audition, or she signed me up for an interview for Top Chef, because they were holding auditions at Scarpetta, which she was repping Scott at the time too. Right. So she was like, oh hey, just go in for an interview, and I'm like, no, I like literally don't want to do it. She's like, it's fine, like just do it. And I'm like, well, I don't know how Michael's going to feel about it. She's like, it's fine. Like one out of a million chance that you would actually get on, like they would pick you. Right. So just go and try. Like, it's fine. So I went, I did it. And I'd actually done another show prior to that called Knife Fight, Alon Hall's show. And I did really well on that. But at that time, it hadn't aired yet. And they were like, oh, well, how did you do? I'm like, well, I can't say because it's not aired yet. They're like, okay, great, cool.
So you respect NDAs. They're like, yes, that's a good sign.
Yeah, so that's a good sign. I like, in retrospect, thinking about that now, I'm like, oh, that was a good thing that I did, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it was probably a 15-minute interview. It was relatively quick. So I was like, okay, well,
no knife skills, nothing. You're just talking to them.
Nothing. You're just talking to producers. Wow. Right. It was like 3 people. And I was like, okay, well, probably didn't get on, but fine. It's fine. Whatever. Later that day, I obviously go to work right after at Inc. And I get a call back like, hey, we want to have a second interview. I'm like, oh, cool. But obviously, like, I didn't know how many interviews I would have to go through, because the Top Chef interview process is so intense. I probably went through a total of 20 interviews throughout the entire process.
What were they asking you?
I mean, you're meeting with different producers,
right.
Different people, studio or network execs.
Got it. So they're just evaluating whether you're going to be TV friendly, fun for the show, whether you could be a hero or villain or whatever.
For sure. Yeah. For sure.
And out of how many people that they were like applied versus like yourself that got chosen?
I'm sure hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
Because at that point it was the 12th season.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that was
the
a
show
decade ago.
Yeah, the show was already
Yeah.
massively popular.
Right. I mean,
Wow.
like, think about the year Michael won and then everything that happened after that. It really became like this career-making thing, and they were giving people real prizes.
Yeah.
So this is back in the day. Remember when, like, food media, being at the festival and all that, it meant a lot more than it does now, you know, in a way, because everything's so fragmented. But back then, it's like, holy shit, I'm going to be in the most important magazine. They're going to give me money and I can be at the most important food festival. That was like a really big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it still
Yeah.
is. I think that it's one of the most respected food shows out there. I think that it's done a lot for, you know, everybody who's been on the show's career, whether you've won or not. I think it's how you, you know, represent yourself. And
Oh, yeah, and Alon's another one.
yeah.
Like, I mean, LA just wins shit, you know?
Yeah. I mean, LA has had a lot of Top Chef winners and a lot of people who have gone
So
on the show.
when you're
have been from
in
LA.
this, because you're talking about how, you know, you can't just be like, I'm going to make mole frite. All right, so you're in the middle of a challenge. Like, what do you find yourself like relying on most? Like your technical skills, your creativity, or is it just muscle memory, like the intuition part of it? Like, what's most important?
Yeah, I think it's definitely intuition. I mean, you're
You're like an athlete
just-
in the zone.
it's a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Competition cooking
Yeah.
is definitely a sport.
So, okay, not saying that, like, so let's talk about just your restaurant cooking, because that's what matters most to us and most to LA. Dom is a creature of habit. It is very. I got him to go to the San Gabriel Valley recently. That was like the fucking first time ever.
Wait, what? The first time? No way.
Yeah.
You've been here for how many years?
I know.
We
I
had
know.
we had Avish from Pizza Palace on. Halfway through the podcast, Avish looks at us like, "Wait, you've never been to an Indian restaurant, right?" And Dom goes, "Well, I've gotten takeout before." So he gets called out on so much shit. I mean, like, yeah. So
Yeah,
we went
guilty
to
as charged.
we went to Henry's Cuisine. He's a creature of habit. He goes to La Dolce Vita all the time to eat baked clams.
After I've had a meal already.
Right, but now there's a
It's my
challenge.
night
Now
time.
there's a challenging part because your shrimp toast is in between
Oh,
La Dolce Vita's.
you can bang bang though.
My
Yeah.
You can bang bang.
God.
So let's talk about this. So let's talk a little bit about 88 Club. Obviously, like, you know, the shrimp toast is an interpretation. It's more luxurious in some ways and all that. But, you know, compared to some things you've done before, what people expect of you, like, this is a pretty straightforward Chinese restaurant, and clearly you wanted it to be that way. So tell me about what this restaurant is and why you wanted it to be like this.
Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, like with a Chinese restaurant being in Beverly Hills, I mean, I definitely want to kind of pay homage to the ones before
Sure.
88 Club, right? Like you have the Mr. Chow, which is amazing. And obviously well respected and has been around for such a long time. So I think in that sense, like we wanted to bring a sense of fine dining to, you know, the Beverly Hills space and with, you know, Chinese food. It's very straightforward. Like you said, it's literally the dish on a plate, no frills, nothing. Like it's let the food speak for itself.
Right.
And that's not necessarily how I've approached food before. And I think that's what makes it so fun. I think for me, speaking about the shrimp toast, right? As one of the dishes, it's literally shrimp toast with 2 dots of different sauces.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
I
That's
could
it.
drink those sauces. They're unbelievable. Like I was craving. Like, okay, it's one thing to have really good food. It's another thing to have something that's craveable. Your food is craveable. Like I was literally, I couldn't wait. I was just there 2 days ago. Couldn't wait to go back just to at least start out with the shrimp toast.
Thank you. I know your first time you had a
Oh,
you had
you
a
doused
double.
us. You doused us. It was great. Oh
Right,
my
you
God, it
got-
was so good.
You had 2 rounds of
I
shrimp
did, yeah.
toast. Like, bring it back.
We had to run it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So just talking about how straightforward it is. I mean, I went there, and the things I remember eating that I liked the most were wontons and sweet and sour fish.
Yeah.
So look, it is very traditional, but you are doing your thing with that. So
Right.
look, the word elevate is a stupid word, but we have to use it all the time.
Yeah.
All right, fuck the word elevate. Like, how are you sort of adapting it to what you want to do and what Beverly Hills wants?
So what I want to do is I always want to make the food delicious, but I also want to make it pretty, right?
Yeah.
So like the wontons, they're basic shrimp wontons. But when you have something so simple like wontons in broth, everything has to be perfect. The shrimp farce that's in the center or the filling of the dumplings, it has to be bouncy and it has to be flavorful. The pasta has to be right, and the broth has to be perfect because it's literally just essentially pasta and broth.
Yeah.
So let me translate.
so
it's
it's like
tortellini and brodo.
Yeah, we know. We
Tortellini
know. We know.
I
that we're gonna
bought
go
my
there.
own wedge of Reggiano when I sat at the table, and I microplaned it on top. I'm just kidding. It was okay. That broth was
Fuck, man, this is Beverly Hills. You
It
should call
was-
it Chinese tortellini and brodo. You could charge twice as you could
Be a lot
charge
of-
twice as
Yeah.
much.
We'll
That
get
was-
into that.
Yeah.
We'll get
You
into
would
that.
charge Mariah.
that was so we
Cipriani
took Chef
prices.
Liz from Mosa. We took her there, and that was her first time. She really, really, really wanted to eat there, and I'm like, dude, we're going. We got it. We're dialed in. And as soon as the dish dropped, I was like, Chef's like, oh my god, I'm so excited to eat these wontons. I'm like, Chef, it's totally in brodo. Just try it. She literally was licking the inside of the bowl because that broth is so special. Oh my god, that dish is like I could run that back, and I mean,
You gave Dom Italian food, and now he's just
oh, it
like,
was so great. It was so great. It was so
or
great.
something that he can recognize. No,
Yeah, sound like recognize.
let's get into it right now, right? Because obviously, like, you're charging Beverly Hills prices, but and I'm not talking shit about these restaurants, but you go look at other new restaurants, and I just mentioned Maria and Cipriani. They are still more expensive than 88 Club. I mean, the cocktails at Maria are very good. Cocktails at Maria like average over $30, right?
Yeah.
And I think they priced it that way so their pastas seem reasonable in price or something. But the idea of doing this for Chinese food is a little harder, just like with some other cuisines. I mean, the best version of this that I've ever heard is West Avila, back when he's at Gorilla Tacos, put all these nice luxury ingredients on a tortilla, and somebody is like, how dare you charge $12 or whatever? And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna make you a different version, motherfucker. And he made it without the tortilla. He's like, you would pay $12 for this, right? And I just
Right.
removed something, right?
Yeah.
But mentally, there's this thing, because it doesn't look like a taco anymore, and people are like, oh, that's really, really nice ingredients. So even though you're Mei Lin and you're super famous, and how much do you still run into this where do you hesitate when you're just like, oh, I'm going to charge the same price, for a steak or a whole fish that a fancy Italian or French restaurant would?
I mean, the way that I think about it is that, I'm sorry, like food is expensive.
Yeah, especially
Labor-
now.
You have to charge.
You have to
It's
charge.
not even a
You have to
choice
charge.
anymore, especially in LA.
Yeah, and it's not. I think, we go into this. There's a stigma where ethnic food shouldn't be expensive,
Right.
and that's the problem that I have. That's a problem. Period. I think that food should cost what it costs. Food costs money. Ingredients are expensive, especially the ingredients that we're using. We're not using commodity anything. We're shopping at the farmer's market. We're using the best quality ingredients. I know this is very, it's like very cliche to say at this
Sure,
point. I mean,
but-
also we're in LA and we're going to utilize these amazing ingredients that we get. But I'm sorry, but I can't charge, X amount of dollars for something that is supposed to be, $100. Like I can't not do that. Like we're using West Home Wagyu, which is super expensive. We have to charge for that.
Yeah.
Like it's just the name of the game. And labor is not cheap. Overhead in general is not cheap.
But do you feel like there's resistance, or do your customers get it?
There's a little bit of resistance. I definitely see it, or I read it on various channels.
Yeah.
I try not to pay attention to that, but I try to be sensitive to it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like in order to operate a business, like you have to be able to charge these prices.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, you have to make yourself viable.
Yeah.
Like there's one thing that I think about all the time that I wanted to get your thoughts on, right? Like, a lot of the chefs in LA, but also in like New York, they start off like doing scrappier things, and people remember those things, right? It's like your friend John Yao, right? There's still people who are like, it was better when it was in the strip mall and it cost $55. Just like there are people who are just like, well, Rich and Mario did their best work when it was Teresi and that tasting menu was $55. And I just lose my shit when I hear that. I'm like, those weren't businesses. Those were the things that they were doing so they could do the other thing. They would not be who they are right now. They'd
Right.
be fucking broke, like with no deals, no appearances, whatever, because they would have just run out of money, right? So I guess the question is, how hard should people really chefs like that be pushing it. Is there some place in the middle, or do you think they should just go for all of it? Because when you go for all of it, yeah, you get awards and all that, but you get a ton of shit for it at the same time. So.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not even like worried about I don't even think about all the awards and stuff.
Right.
Like it's all about.
Well, you've won 2 TV shows, so.
Well, I mean, for me now, in the headspace that I'm at, I just want to feed the community, and I just want, this to be a place where people come to and to have a good meal because they crave the food.
Right.
It's really it. Speaking
of good meals, so literally, okay, so went to friends and family. Amazing.
Right. Super VIP, Dom.
No. So, not only we talked about the shrimp toast. I was so excited, and then I actually wrote down, and this is great. I wrote down what I had, and
typing means I may have
I may have even missed some things, but I'm just gonna ramble this through because there were also stars. So I also noticed like there were things that you added to the menu since the last time that we.
Right
Yeah, I know. I don't want you looking over my shoulder, bro. Okay, so there's
more than 15 dishes that he just jotted down.
We were 4 people. And plus you sent things too. So we had the cucumber salad, which was insane.
Again, Dom, we get that you're VIP.
Sesame prawn toast. The clams were ridiculous. Okay, the pork and prawn egg rolls. So that was great. So I was expecting like I don't know, like one of these, and
like
we got
a New York style.
Oh yeah. And then we got the skinny ones with that sauce that we literally told us the waiter like just leave it on the table. We want this with everything. Just leave it there.
Remember, he's never been in the San Gabriel Valley, so he only thinks there's one kind of egg roll.
Okay, so
spring roll,
the sweet and sour fish, like I could drink that sauce. I would put that sauce. I'll put that sauce on pasta. It was amazing. It was delicious.
Wow.
We did that. We had the roasted chicken. So this was the thing we talked about at the table. So I didn't order the chicken because it was on the bone. I had a nice new shirt on. I didn't want to get involved. And then all of a sudden, the chicken lands on the table, and because I secretly really wanted the chicken, but I'm trying to be respectable because we have guests, and I can't gnaw on the bone. If my wife was there, she'd kill me. But so I was like, all right, whatever. We got the chicken, and it was so juicy and so perfect. That sauce, another thing, like I need to do scarpetta in a Chinese restaurant. Is that okay?
That's totally fine.
Yeah. So
we got Chinese donuts.
Wait, let's talk about the chicken for a second.
Yeah, go, because it was amazing.
That's really a nod to your heritage and your childhood, right? Like that goes deep. Tell us what that chicken is.
I mean, it's a nod to my dad. It's something that, so he used to make these namyu fried chicken wings. So it's like that sauce coated in fried chicken wings. And they're not always necessarily fried, but you can also like bake them or broil them so they're nice and charred, or put them on the grill. But my dad made them all the time, and I just wanted to really put that into like a chicken format, like a whole chicken format. And that's essentially what it is. Like the marinade is essentially red bean curd, honey, a lot of different spices. Just like kind of
good.
Massaged in, and I mean we pretty much like dry brine the bird and brush that marinade on, and that's really it. It's like very, very simple. There's an aromatic soy sauce broth like on the bottom and lots of fresh herbs. Eat that with a bowl of rice and you're golden.
Well, I did. I had the rice and the fried rice. All right, how about that pork? That was, I could have ran that back like 3 more times. I almost took one home. I'm not even kidding. It was amazing.
Oh, the char siu?
Yeah. I wrote it down, but I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I just said the pork.
So, Mei, it's a huge compliment for Dom to be doing this, but we know that Dom never went to Hoki. He never went to Needle. He never went to PRD.
Oh my gosh.
He never went to Rice.
I went to 88 Club, and I can stop there.
He never went to Rice Box. So right now we're declaring that you have the best char siu.
Wow.
Insane.
I mean.
No, but yours. I mean, I haven't tried it yet. I got to try it.
Wait, you haven't tried it?
Well, I've been there once. I'm not.
Oh, for friends and family, big shot?
No, I went. Okay. But I went on the second day.
I think I went on the last day, and I don't even think it was friends and family, but they still took care of us.
All right, I didn't go in friends and family.
All right.
I think they sent some dishes, but they sent you more.
No, there's no doubt about it.
What the fuck are we even talking about right now? So I haven't had your char siu yet because I've gone once. Okay. We went with 4 people. We had the chicken, we had the fish, we had the wontons, we had the shrimp toast. I mean, we had a lot of food.
Yeah.
We had the mapo tofu, which was good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and very traditional, but Beverly Hills version of it. So I get it.
Which I thought, I mean, honestly, it was, and the food was really clean. Like everything was clean. The dining room was packed. And this is the other thing. So I like literally customers of
Mm-hmm.
ours are like, hey man, can you get me a reservation? And I usually don't like to do that, and I usually don't, right? How does one get a reservation? Because I feel like you guys are like so booked out, and it's like you go online, it's like almost impossible. Any like little tricks or anything that customers should know to try and get in?
I mean, we put out reservations 7 days in advance.
Okay.
So I would highly urge for the guests to mark your calendar.
Yeah.
For the day, for a week, just basically a week out before you want to go, because it is a very small dining room. It's a 45 seat restaurant,
And it's cozy. It's
and
beautiful.
it's small. So if you don't, the 6 o'clock spot books almost immediately.
Well, you're in Beverly Hills.
And so I feel like we have a lot of like we're open at 5:30. So 5:30, there's a lot of 5:30s that are open. There's a lot of 9s that are open. So we always have some availability.
Okay.
But it's that 6 o'clock. If you want to come at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
it's those are the ones that are almost always
booked.
gone first.
Good for you guys. It was great, man. And the desserts too. So we had the fried rice. I just want to real quick. I had the fried rice. I had the
He's
sweet and
doing
sour.
an ad for you now.
No. The hot and sour cabbage was delicious.
90% of these
That was
podcasts
really
end up
special.
being
And by the way,
not
our
usable,
waiter, who
but-
was awesome, he's like, because like I don't know if I would order cabbage on a menu. I don't know. I just whatever, right? And he was like, I promise you, get the cabbage. And we did. We got the maitake, the crispy maitakes were unreal. I went nuts. And then we had, for dessert, we had the mango coconut, those T-buns.
Yeah.
I could have ran that back. And I think we had the almond tofu, but I could be wrong. There was another custard thing
The
on
custard buns are so good.
Yeah.
that was amazing,
perfect.
but
Yeah.
it was like flawless from top to bottom. It was so great. And we were with another chef, and he had a Mai Tai, and I tasted his Mai Tai, and it was amazing. And by the way, this was the first time I don't subscribe to orange wine. I'm not into it at all.
Really?
Don't like it. And we went with Jay, and Jay got the orange wine. I took a sip of his, and I actually liked it, and it went so well with the food. It was perfect. It was just perfect. Oh, and we had the Singaporean chow mein. Ridiculous.
That's like a silent hit.
Oh,
It's a silent hitter.
amazing.
It's like
amazing.
pasta, right? Huh?
It was pasta. I put some cheese on it. It was amazing. I parlayed that with the tortellini and brodo. I felt like I was back in Bologna. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly. Right. All right. So your restaurant reminds them of Emilio Romano. I mean, like, it's fucking great. He's gonna go all the
I
time.
felt like home, eh?
So let's talk about some places that Dom hasn't ever been, may go, may never go. Because obviously you and I, both separately, we just go eat all over LA, and we go eat in the San Gabriel Valley. So this is a really funny thing.
And invite me when you go, because I want to go. I want to go with you too.
Yes.
Because this guy broke my
have to.
balls the entire time. I'd like to at least have a nice, stimulating conversation, talk to you, hang
We
out.
just put out a podcast that was the nicest podcast
It was
we've ever
passive
had.
aggressive, Andy.
Where-
Everyone knows
where
it.
we literally just talked about.
It was totally passive aggressive.
So we went to Henry's Cuisine.
Oh.
And obviously ordered lobster, ordered the pork knuckle, all ordered salt and pepper pork chop. But because there are a lot of people, well, mainly Dom and Jay, who'd never been, I'm like, let me order one thing for them. And so, I got them that salted, I got them that pork patty with the salted fish on it, and they ate it.
Wow.
And it was the first thing, and they're like, I don't know what this is. And I'm like, okay, you've experienced the San Gabriel Valley now in a way. Here's your Kung Pao chicken. But but that's what's great about the San Gabriel Valley. One restaurant does both those things well at the same time,
And that's such like a home style like meal. I love that. Like that's the definition of comfort food for me.
Yeah.
Like that style of food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It was cozy. The food was great. Company was great.
Like
It was
that dish that you're talking about that you can never eat again. Like I think the Chifa family, like this is just what they grew up eating in their house.
Oh, you're talking about the fermented fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, the dry
I was
fish,
also explaining to him like how cultures think about fermentation. When you go to eat kimchi jjigae, it's like the kimchi that's like turned.
Mm-hmm.
So Dom's learning all sorts.
No, I
of
learned
things.
it, but I try everything once.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
So he says he's going to come to Bistro Naz with us and a bunch of chefs. And Bistro Naz is probably the one that collectively is most beloved by all the chefs. Like I've interviewed your friend John Yao about this. I've interviewed your friend Aitor about this. I've eaten with Aitor there. Daniel Patterson has gone with us. I mean, I'm just pointing out that like these are.
Bro, you bring me the invite, I'll show up.
So we're all going to go. Can you explain to Dom what Bistro Naz is and how it's different and fancier than Henry's in a lot of ways, but they do have some similar dishes?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, for me, I love taking friends from out of town to Bistro Naz. I think it's probably one of the best Chinese restaurants in the city.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's the city.
That's great. Yeah.
LA.
No, in the city, in the country, probably, when you think about it that way.
It's really fantastic. It is basically food that you would present to the royals. It's like imperial cuisine, imperial Chinese cuisine.
Oh yeah, there's some weird textures in the little trays that look really pretty that you're not gonna like, but yeah.
Are you you don't like textures? Are you weird with textures?
It just depends, right? Like I was in Milan and they gave me like cartilage and like this slimy sauce. Really?
Yeah, the fact that he says cartilage and slimy, like he's not gonna like all the textures.
So, yeah. But I would look, I'll taste it. I'll try it for sure.
They'll give you a short rib and some crispy shrimp too. You're gonna be.
No, but I don't want to love the crispy shrimp.
Yeah. I know. I want to experience like the ethnicity of the cuisine. Like I want to be involved in it. I want to at least try it because I haven't. Right.
Yeah.
So
we need to go
in
like a big group.
No, just the context of this too, just so you understand like why this, like how much this restaurant matters. When John Yao got his Michelin star for the first time, he just texted a bunch of people, and he's just like, I wrote about this. He just texted people like, we're all going to Bistro Naz right now, and he drove more than an hour back to the San Gabriel Valley to go to Bistro Naz to celebrate, and it was a cool thing because he was saying that as he was driving, he was seeing his phone blowing up because they were getting more and more reservations, but Bistro Naz also at that time like had a Michelin star, so it was just cool like full circle moment.
Dude, that's amazing. I would love to try it. I would absolutely love it. Let's put it down on the calendar.
Response to Michelin stars.
No, I don't care about Michelin stars. I want the true, like quintessential, whatever you guys think is great. I don't care what nationality is. Like I want to try that. I want to at least try that once to understand, because I'm gonna assume that a lot of that had influence on you because of the way you grew up and things like that. That's reflected in your cooking. Like I want to know what influences you and what you like.
Okay,
right?
Well, let's get some other recommendations. All right, Mei, where should Dom go eat dim sum, or where should he go eat Taiwanese breakfast, or where else should he go try Vietnamese style lobster? Like, what do you like right now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, SGV in general, there's so many great places, not just for Chinese food, but for Vietnamese food. Where do we start? Well, Bistro Naz for one is incredible. I love Huge Tree. Huge Tree for Taiwanese breakfast is awesome.
Don't even look at me because I don't even know what you're saying right now. I've never even heard of these places.
So breakfast pastries.
Breakfast
and sandwiches.
Yes. You will love it. It's like sticky rice, like rolled with like pork floss and like a fried egg and the Chinese donut, the yao tiu.
Yeah.
Just kind of like rolled up into like a burrito.
Okay.
And that's
amazing.
That's breakfast. It's literally carb on carb on carb.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's one. Have you been to Daiho?
Yes.
Yeah, Daiho for Taiwanese beef noodle soup. Amazing. Newport Seafood, Boston Lobster for stir-fried lobster. Like it's like Chinese Vietnamese food.
Yeah. Quick question.
Amazing.
So the stir-fried lobster, did they always do it in the shell, or will they ever take
always
it out?
In the shell?
It's always in the shell. See, this is the same reason why I don't eat chicken on a bone.
Really?
It's like I got it because like
too much work.
I'm an animal. I'm gonna get involved.
You should.
But like I'm gonna start cracking things. I'm gonna get it all over me. Like I need to like.
So it's okay.
And plus I'm very hungry at that time.
They
right?
provide you with bibs.
Yeah.
It's all good.
You need a bib.
Yeah.
Really? So they won't take it out of the shell. Like you gotta have it in the shell. Mm-hmm. And you're cracking it right there, and you're eating it right from the shell. All
right. So Dom, there's something that just came out today, or came out this week that you should know about. This is weird because this is a plug for BJ Novak's Chain, and it's also a plug for Arby's because they put it out. This is a genius thing.
Like Arby's, the roast beef?
Correct, because Chain collaborates with all the fast food restaurants.
Got it.
They have this piece of fast fashion that's essentially just like a shirt and a short set, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're calling it a barbecue bib. It's completely made out of linen napkins, and the entire photo shoot was just people wearing shit and getting like AC barbecue sauce in it.
That's actually really smart.
All over. So I'm gonna get you one of those,
yeah, and I'll bring it with me everywhere we go.
And then you just wear it everywhere.
And I will order the lobster. I will get the chicken.
And after you're staying,
if it's on a bone, count me in.
All right. BJ, Nikki, if you're listening to this, we want a fucking free one. We've done a lot for you over the years.
I'll put a Chisto logo
I don't
on
want one.
Ooh.
Dom needs one.
I need no, yeah, it's not even want, it's a need.
Can you imagine Dom walking around the city wearing that type of streetwear?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We're gonna get you like a.
I love that.
You can totally pull it off.
1,000%. I want to. I got a cheese dough branded though.
I mean, fucking Daybird should have a version of this too.
This should
It's
be,
made out of napkins.
No, but this is like our supper club. This is when we go to other restaurants. We all.
Well, that's the
rock it
thing.
out.
That's the thing with these guys.
How sick would that be?
That'd be amazing.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna call. No, you know what? I'm gonna.
Get us one now.
No. I'm gonna call Nick. I'm gonna call Nick.
By the time we get to Genghis Cohen.
All right. You know what? This worked once with Justin and Anna Jack.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
gonna do this right now. All right. I'm gonna call him right now.
Thank you.
Mr. Wong.
How are you?
I am.
How are you, Mr. Kraft?
I'm good.
You are on a live podcast that isn't really live because we edit things. So maybe this will be aired or not. We're with Dom at the cheese store, and we're with Mei Lin. And very organically, we're talking about how Dom makes a mess and can't eat like Cantonese lobster, or Vietnamese style lobster with his bare hands. So I told them that Chain and Arby's have created a garment that could solve this problem. So is there a way to get Dom one? Because he will model the shit out of this. He'll go to all our dinners. May will take pictures of him. Basically, early on, like I did a plea to get Dom a free one that you and BJ and Jack and everybody and Byron aren't going to hear for like a month because that's how podcast works. But now I'm just asking you, I don't need this shit. But Dom at some point should get one of these.
And let me say, no pressure.
Look, if I'm being honest, you have a bad reputation for being a slob, and it actually got up to Arby's CEO.
Yeah.
And this whole thing has been a ruse to get one of these in your hands. And Andy just sort of exposed.
No, you got me, bro. I'm speechless.
It was all for you. The short answer is, of course. The long answer is you'll have to wait a few weeks because we're getting them.
So I'm going to lunch in an hour. It's not possible?
If it were.
Can we get the prototype to Genghis Cohen like in the next hour? If not, fuck off. We don't really care after today.
After all three that were handmade in LA currently sit with Cedric, Anthony, and Stephen Colbert. The remaining are.
They're more famous than you, Dom, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
I've never heard any of those guys, bro. I'm
All
just
right.
kidding, man. Thanks for taking Andy's call.
I'm glad that I do this shit, and people always pick up, and people need to learn that they just have to stop picking up.
Stop answering.
It was nice talking to you. Actually, I do want to ask a question. Did this premise start with just you guys sitting around and saying, what happened if we made a garment just entirely out of napkins? Did it start with a joke, or did it start somewhere else?
Everything starts with a joke. You should know that by now. The founder of Chain is a famous comedian.
Right.
We did have a lot of arguments about, isn't all like fabric a napkin? Like, how can something be made of napkins? Anything's a napkin.
So did you actually physically take the linen napkins, or did you just take the linen? Whatever. You know what? I don't want to ruin this narrative.
Bro, you got to come. Season 4 podcast.
It's a great idea. All right. Thank you for taking the call. We're going to Genghis Cohen. This is already way too much of your time. I'll call you soon. So, that's kind of the thing, right? They're thinking that this would be good for Arby's, but really it's like you should steal this idea and just start making wearable napkins.
It's all about the merch.
Yeah.
It's all about the merch.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. My daughter's 16, and we had her design the sweatshirts and stuff with the
I
fabric and the
love them.
materials. And it's kind of crazy, but it's all about the merch. Didn't think it would be that big, but it's all about the merch.
Yep.
Oh, and then so lastly with the San Gabriel Valley, and then we can talk about whatever we want. But it's like, I think Dom said that he went to Sea Harbor once, but he doesn't remember when it was. Well, I'm not sure he went to Sea Harbor because the way that this conversation happened, I was like, Dom, have you ever gone to San Gabriel Valley? And he goes, once.
It was ABC. Is that right?
So you have, yeah.
So
or NBC.
That's the dumb sum. Oh, NBC.
NBC.
All right,
For dim sum.
So
man,
that-
should we edit that? We might want to edit that. It's not ABC. It's
No,
NBC.
No. It's fine because there's restaurants in the San Gabriel Valley called ABC. I promise
Okay,
you.
no, it's the dim sum place with the carts. I walked in there. They literally had this was a long time
Oh, so you went
ago.
to NBC Seafood. It's Monterey Park, right?
Yeah.
They had the tanks of the real
Yeah.
king crab live in it.
Yes.
It was insane, dude. I actually went there with Eric, who works here. That was a long time ago when I first started working at the cheese store.
Yeah. Man, king crab, man, that's like that's such a subject for me, and I don't really want to get into it.
Okay.
Why?
No, because it's just when we're talking about the pricing, right? There was a moment in time, right, where like at Longo Seafood they were doing a deal, and the king crab, and it literally would just like there'd be a huge banner where basically it was just like you can buy one king crab or you can buy one lobster, and the lobster was like, I don't know, $12 a pound, and the king crab was like $49 a pound,
Oh, yeah.
right?
It's crazy.
I went to Longo 6 days after going to Angler, which we know is a very good restaurant.
I love. I miss.
It's
I miss
such a
Angler.
good restaurant.
Yeah.
But the king crab at Angler was $2,400, and the one at Longo was like under 500 or something.
Yeah.
And I just had a moment where I'm like, look, you were talking about like different skill sets, different audiences and that, but that fucking chasm is crazy, you know? Like there's got to be some in between point. And like, look, we loved Angler, you know? I mean, I guess unfortunately, like not enough people loved Angler, but that was a real moment in time restaurant for a lot of us. But the thing that really resonated with me about Angler being a correct restaurant is that in San Francisco, where it does okay, a lot of their clientele are just like baller Chinese people who are like, holy shit, this is a good restaurant, you know?
That
So-
was like my go-to.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I was a regular there.
Yeah.
Literally, we would like I'd hit up John and be like, "Hey, you want to meet up at Angler
Yeah, you,
for
John,
like an
and,
after?" for an
you, John, and
after?"
Itor were like sustaining that restaurant for a while, along with like a few others. Like Jordan would go to that restaurant.
Yeah, it's such an amazing restaurant that I am so bummed out about that we don't have anymore.
Yeah.
There's just simplicity on a plate. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things,
Delicious
right,
food.
where we want LA to be a certain thing, right? We want it to be funky and ethnic and all that, but you know, we collectively also have these moments like, why can't we have some of the nicer things? Why doesn't the city get that? You know?
yeah.
So you know that part is really, interesting because a lot of it is just, very much based on location, neighborhood, moment in
also,
time.
not to mention, like, it was one of the only restaurants, if not the only restaurant, who provided free valet.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like free valet.
God.
Who offers free valet? I mean, I understand that it was. I mean, I think it was very close in proximity to where I was living at the time.
Yeah.
So I lived like 10 minutes away. So that was like the restaurant I went to all the time.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean-
and a weird thing is, it's like one reason that, like, I mean, this is a weird way to think about it. I mean, given how great of a chef Josh Skeens, I mean, will be, all of that. The location, and I guess the fact that, there wasn't that much proximity to, I mean, actually people who like to eat Chinese food might have been something that did it in. Because I think about this thing all the time, right? Where they're like, well, nobody wants to go to a mall. Nobody wants to park at a mall. That was the whole problem. And I'm like, there are multiple mall restaurants that are among the most popular and hardest to get into restaurants in Los Angeles. And they're all fucking called Din Tai Fung, right? People will drive to a mall for the right reason, but maybe not that mall for
Right.
that food. And so it was just like, wrong place, wrong time. But it's like, did you ever go?
No.
I mean, this is a huge tangent, but yeah, you would have really liked that restaurant.
I'm sure
Yeah,
I would love
you
it. I
would've
heard
loved
nothing
it.
but amazing things about
Yeah.
it. Never went.
Yeah. And I mean, Josh's cooking like influenced a lot of the quote unquote fine dining that's in LA now, like no
believe it.
question.
I
Yeah.
believe it.
I mean, you love Leopardo, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. So, at what point when you were writing this menu did you have the moment, or maybe it was just in the beginning, where like, I don't have to fancify this. I don't need to manipulate these dishes. I don't need to plate them a certain way. And now that you've done this and you've gotten this type of response for what you're doing, like, does it sort of, change, affect the things that you want to do in the future, the things that you might want to open, the way that you want to cook going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, my cooking has changed a lot. I don't like to put a million different things on a plate. Just kind of like let the food, speak for itself. And just have it be simple. Very few things. And I think that that's exactly the way that I like to cook now. So it's weird to think that I feel like if I go into a competition now, I don't know that would be I don't know that would be very impressive for the judges.
Right.
Because you're not
know
throwing
what
a
I mean?
bunch of
'Cause
shit
I'm
on a
not-
plate. You're like
right.
trying to keep it simple.
I'm trying to keep
Yeah.
it simple, and
Love it.
and that only speaks, to a few people.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that? For me, I just, a few things on a plate might not impress a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah, but when they taste as good as they
it
do.
might not impress judges, but I think more and more it's just how like people actually want to eat, right?
It impresses customers.
Because the thing about people that go to your restaurants, right? I mean, like at this point, they've eaten all over, they've traveled all over, and they know that like some of the biggest ticket things are like simple. I mean, like all the food, like whatever on the Italian coast, right? That's like simple, straightforward food. I mean, for years and years. I mean, this is a huge tangent, but it's directly related, right? There's a restaurant called Bartolotta in Las Vegas where
Was.
all of the chefs that I knew, I mean, it ended up being a Gucci store, I think. It was at Wynn Las Vegas, and in a lot of ways, it was the simplest Italian restaurant and the most luxurious Italian restaurant. And all it was just like, we're just going to get the best possible seafood. He was the one who like worked with a marine biologist and figured out how to get langoustines from the Faroe Islands and like keep them alive after like, and so there's a direct line to something like that, like whether you realize it or not, to something like Angler, but just the fact that like, you go and you look up Paul Bartolotta and the fact that like he was the mentor of like Scott Conant and Michael White and had done, like won James Beard Awards like 2 decades apart. He had done the high-end stuff. He had done the avant-garde stuff, right? Like they were doing things like where when they were like at Spiaggia, like things like pesto weren't popularized, right? And then they just made that, right? And they decided, no, fuck it. I'm going to get, langoustines and scorpion fish, and spiny lobster and just cook it AOP essentially. So, I mean, I think that like there's been sort of a movement where those are the things that a lot of us are coming back to. You go through your whole career just showing off how fucking good you are at all this stuff. And then you realize, well, now I'm going to cook the food that I actually want to eat, no shade at the other stuff, right?
And that's exactly what it is. I'm just cooking what I want to eat and what I want to serve to my friends.
Well, you're cooking what Dom
So hold
wants
on.
to eat.
Can we just real quick, because we didn't talk about Daybird.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Daybird?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
So for me, I remember when you were doing construction down the block and stuff, and you guys bought us a bunch of those sandwiches, and I had never been there, and you bought us those sandwiches, and I have to tell you,
Yeah, he won't even go to Silver Lake
they were Silver Lake.
or just to Pisa Palace.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was so simple. Like what made you? I mean, because you came from, such a culinary background. Like now we're doing fried chicken, but it's not just fried chicken, right? Like what made you decide to do that?
At the time, I feel like hot chicken restaurants were so saturated.
Yeah.
And I always love making fried chicken, but how could I make fried chicken different? So have you've obviously heard of Hot Star?
Yeah.
So I just kind of took
Why are you just looking at him? What if I heard a Hot Star?
There's zero chance you've heard of Hot Star.
I'm just kidding. Well, I haven't, but
What is
I'm
Hot Star,
offended that
Dom?
you didn't look at me also.
What is Hot Star?
I don't know.
They fry meat, so there's a clue. Keep going.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Hot Star is this large piece of like pounded out fried chicken that you'd get. It's essentially street food, and it comes in a sleeve. It's seasoned, and you kind of just eat it as that. So it's very inspired by that specific thing, and that's kind of how I wanted to present the Daybird Sando. We don't use chicken breast, we use chicken thighs. We pound it out nice and thin because when you get chicken thighs, they're already irregular in size. Like one piece is like thicker and one piece is thinner. So I just pound it out so it's even. We brined it, played with a lot of different dredges, and made this insane seasoning that's very Szechuan heavy. There's probably 30 different spices in there. And that's kind of how the Daybird Sando was born.
It's amazing. So you use just chicken thighs.
We just use chicken thighs for
And the sauces.
sandwiches.
You have like how many sauces?
we have 4 different sauces.
Yeah, they're insane.
But the chicken thighs is a choice because, as you know, like a lot of the really famous like Nashville hot chicken sandwiches,
all
they use
breast.
chicken breast.
Yeah.
It's all breast.
Yeah. So, And usually, you know, I would say that most people prefer eating dark meat, but somehow the sandwich turned into.
I thought it was juicy. It was great. It traveled well. Obviously,
Yeah.
it was probably like a good hour after
Oh,
it was
so-
made
Yeah.
that we ate it, and it was perfect.
So what, you brought him Daybird here? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You didn't actually go to
Went
Daybird.
crazy. Everyone went crazy for it. It was so good. What bun do you put it on?
We put it on a potato roll. So it's like that nice balance of you have a soft, squishy potato roll, and a super crunchy, juicy piece of chicken. I
Yeah.
think that just goes hand in hand. And with the slot, and obviously with a lot of fried chicken sandwiches, you have a sauce. We don't have sauce. Like there's no sauce in the sandwich. I did it specifically that way because you have so much chicken sticking out of the bun. I want you to experience that piece of chicken first before even getting into the sandwich. So just trying this chicken with a bunch of different sauces beforehand, and then kind of like, you choose your adventure type of thing.
Love it.
Oh man, I'm
Any
getting
plans to
hungry.
roll more of those out? Because I mean, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah, always, but things,
I love it. I love it.
just
I love it.
trying
I
to
thought
figure it out.
that was
Yeah.
amazing. That was insane. I love
Yeah.
it.
All right, so I'm getting really hungry. I'm tired of eating cheese and
know.
charcuterie and bread.
You can't get tired of this stuff.
So there's gonna be
It's impossible.
I've been doing an ad for you for 2 seasons. Only May's doing it today. I don't know how this works. This is going to be a reverse plug, or this is going to be a time machine or all that. Like, I think we should go eat. I think we're all going to go to Genghis Cohen. By the time this podcast airs, Genghis Cohen will have moved Fairfax locations. By the time this podcast airs, you will probably already heard a podcast with Mark and Med from Genghis Cohen about this move and everything else. But as of this moment, they have a couple weeks in their current location. They do New York style Chinese food, which you, I, and JC
It's my wheelhouse, bro.
recently talked about. We're gonna let Dom do the ordering. This is
I
gonna
get to
be
order
some San
too?
Gabriel,
Ooh.
San Gabriel Valley thing, and then we're gonna sit there and we're gonna enjoy this style of Chinese food because it is the best version of that we have in LA. So
Love it. Love it. Let me also say thank you. We know how busy you are. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you. For
And
having
also
me.
congrats on all your success. You're
Thank you.
crushing it, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer person. I truly mean that. So best of luck to you with everything that you do, and thank you again for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
and
so
I
much.
do wanna, like Dom does this to everybody, but I do just want to add that you and I also bonded, in recent years. Like we did something on Clubhouse, like during all that Stop Asian Hate stuff that was going on. It's like, your sort of ties to the community while you sort of do your own thing and open up things to the community. Like it's very important for LA. Like I remember the first time I interviewed you, the question that I asked, because you had just won Top Chef, I'm like, are you gonna leave LA? Because I'm sure you could go anywhere now. And you're like, no, I'm not gonna leave LA. LA's home. The plane's gonna land, then I'm gonna go eat in Koreatown. And that was the moment where I realized, okay, I'm new to LA, but I recognize that this is a real one. And that was a while ago, and you haven't left, so we're happy you're here.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Happy to be here.
Thanks, mate.